Hello there, and welcome to another edition of the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett, brought to you by our presenting sponsor here, Sartor Hamann. You'll hear more from them on the show. We're also brought to you by First Interstate Bank out of the gates. At First Interstate Bank, we have a limited time offer that we want to share with you from now through November 21st. We want to give you up to $600. It's easy. Simply open a new checking account, savings account, or both online or at your nearest branch today by using code FALL25BONUS, and you can put $600 in your wallet. You deserve it. To learn more, visit firstinterstate.com/fall-bonus, fall25bonus, subject to eligibility requirements. First Interstate Bank, member FDIC. But happy bye weekend. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend in store. Probably a lot of raking of leaves.
No, I'm not doing that. There's people I have do that.
You got your own crew next door.
I want to rake leaves.
Well,
and that does not sound fun, by the way.
I'm not doing it either, by the way.
Right. I'm joking too. You could do that. I guess it's fun, but no.
Key is you just stay on top of it with your mow and just mulch.
Yeah. Well, not
chop them up or suck them up.
Yeah.
The super chat almost could have gotten in trouble there. Could have gotten in trouble there.
You just can't help yourself. Rake leaves. That's what's on your mind.
Yeah, be a good weekend for football. Basketball. Robin's heading up to Sioux Falls.
Some of us have to work this weekend.
I was going to say.
That big one. Oklahoma.
Right.
Nebraska.
There's
Sioux Falls.
And Sean, I would think that your mind would be on a double header. There's a good TV double header. It's on BTN. USC versus Iowa. It's Iowa at USC is on BTN, then followed immediately by Nebraska, Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I've got a doubleheader on basketball coaching Carly Saturday.
Okay, so you won't be watching.
10 and noon. We play at 10 and noon.
Oh, you can be watching.
That's a doubleheader.
I was like, oh, we do have a doubleheader.
So you could come home and watch Iowa, USC,
Yep,
and then
watch Robin and Sioux Falls. And
yeah, I'm not going to watch Robin and Sioux Falls.
Well, you got volleyball too. It's going to be a big volleyball weekend. They're out in California on Friday and Sunday.
Okay,
and they're going to fill up USC and UCLA's venues.
I thought it was the ADs at USC and UCLA. I guess I'd be a little embarrassed. Like,
why?
Because an opponent's going to fill up our gym.
That's it's like Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I'd still be embarrassed.
It's a great thing for the sport.
They're not embarrassed about the ticket sales.
No, I'd still be embarrassed. You're not going to talk me out of that. I'd be like, really? So an opponent is going to fill our gym. Great.
The rock star element of the volleyball program right now is real.
Oh, it's great for the sport, but I'm just talking about one AD. I mean, it's not good.
Yeah, they have yet to lose a set in conference play.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So big weekend of other things. And then, football, Michigan, Iowa, Penn State, Michigan State will be another game.
Iowa. Michigan, Iowa.
Or no, not Iowa, USC. I'm sorry, Iowa, USC. Iowa, USC, Michigan State, Penn State.
Yeah. Michigan State, Penn State. I guess we're watching that.
Yeah, because we're going to learn kickoff time this weekend. And all the intel you hear is it still could be a night game, which what a raw deal. If you're Nebraska, you have to play a short week 11 a.m. game and a potential night game.
Yeah, that's not good. Wouldn't the Big Ten think about that?
No.
Well, in 2023, they did the same thing to Nebraska against Wisconsin. Remember, they played Madison at night and then Iowa short week in Lincoln.
I would think they always talk about the welfare of the student athlete. It's just talk. That's what
that's not even a part of the conversation anymore. And anytime they use that, it's just an excuse to do something else that they want to do.
Okay, I'm going to be much more positive going forward in this video. Okay.
All right.
Let's brighten things up here.
Yeah.
Negative Nelly.
Yeah. Oh God. No,
you're not raking your leaves.
I know. Just off to a horrifying start.
Yeah. I just watched you eat a huge burrito.
I don't know. Half of it. I don't know. Wait a second. I don't know if that's negative. That I'm not raking my leaf. Is that negative?
No. You're like, I've got people to do that. Gosh.
My staff.
Your staff.
The property staff.
You've got very nice neighbors.
Yeah, I do.
All right, guys. Nebraska did practice this week. Kind of a lower key bye week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Same schedule as before. But I think and we'll talk more about Lateef and Emmett Johnson in our next segment. But what I just think the feel now has changed for Nebraska heading into this bye week, just with the performance of Lateef. And now all of a sudden, you go out to Penn State and a ranked Iowa team comes to Lincoln to close the year. And I think people are pretty engaged and intrigued what these next 2 weeks are going to bring.
And I would say more just, you don't, it doesn't have to be the performance of Lateef. You can just say the performance of the offense, which was good. And, everybody's excited about Emmett Johnson right now. Emmett Johnson is having one of the best running back year for Nebraska since, Amir Abdullah in 2014. So that's caused a lot of good feeling. But I think it's about the performance at UCLA inspired a degree of confidence. And certainly Lateef does capture the imagination. But, Rob, what's next is Jim Knowles. That's not Kevin Coyle. And you know what's after that? It's Phil Parker. That's not Kevin Coyle. I mean, it's a lot. It'll be a lot different for TJ Lateef facing a 60-year-old wily veteran defensive coordinator in a cold weather setting. And then same with Iowa, 62-year-old Phil Parker. Those two guys are the best, among the best in the business.
And most of our viewership probably doesn't even know who Kevin Coyle is.
Oh, Coyle was the UCLA DC.
Right.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of guys in football who don't know who Kevin Coyle is. I mean, he's been around.
I mean,
he's an older guy
know
too.
who Tim Skipper is.
Right. Now Coyle's been around. He was an NFL coordinator, but he's not. Here we go. I can't help but be negative. He's just not that good. He's not known. He's known as being very vanilla, standard stuff.
The numbers suggest it.
Yeah. He's probably had his time. He was probably good at some point in his career. He wouldn't be a coordinator at UCLA. But no, it's just, the point is it's going to ramp up for Lateef and everybody.
And the newness is gone now. You have an entire game's worth of film to study where UCLA had like a couple of drives against Houston Christian. Like, I don't even know what you can take away from that. So there certainly will be an increased degree of difficulty, one, from the level of competition they're playing from a talent standpoint, but then, like you talked about, the schematics that are going to adjust with Penn State defense. Teams are going to understand tendencies now, what TJ likes to do, where he likes to go, when pressure's in his face, what's his response. Like, all those things are on film now. And so that's the challenge for not just TJ, but for this coaching staff to get him ready and get that offense ready to adjust. Because if you sit there and try to do the exact same thing, copy and paste, they're going to have an answer for it. And so they've got to have some ingenuity here to get that offense to the next level.
There were just 15 passing attempts, though. So it's not like there's a lot of film. I mean, that's not much.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's not like they aired it out 40 or 50 times. I mean, they ran 15 pretty basic plays. I don't think they got too extravagant.
No, they didn't.
With what they did.
They didn't want to.
And they didn't need to.
They didn't need to. Now, that's another good point. You're probably going to need to open it up more for Lateef. This was a good first go-round, and I don't want to discredit UCLA too much. They got guys. But this was a pretty good setting. No wind, beautiful weather, very manageable situation for a first-time starter in college. Now, I will say this. Penn State's numbers on defense aren't very good at all. They're 83rd against the run. They're not a top 25 defense this year. Iowa, on the other hand, is hey, guys, they're like a top 5 defense, top 10. Now, that's not across the board, but their key numbers, total defense, scoring defense, run defense, pass defense, they're a top 10 defense.
Well, all the numbers about Nebraska, holding every team under 400 yards. Guess who else is on that list? Iowa.
Well,
so, I mean, they're right there.
It's misleading because of how this conference plays, though.
I don't think Iowa's defense is misleading.
I mean, I'm saying, like, in terms of the total number of plays per game, the total number of possessions per game, it's just lower in the Big Ten, which is going to yield lower yard numbers.
Yeah, that number that we're throwing around, Nebraska's held every opponent under 400. It's good, but what we see on the field isn't dominant defense, right?
We haven't seen a lot of explosive play offense either,
right?
Which gets the defense on the field quicker. I mean, I feel like every drive is somewhat more longer, sustained drives, which takes away plays,
right?
But Nebraska's answered the call. At least their pass defense has every single, including against the best passing offense in the country against USC. So, like, I think that what you have that way. And with Iowa, like, you could make this argument too. Like, Oregon had pretty good success running the football right up the gut on them. So, like, You have a guy that you're pumping as a Heisman Trophy candidate at running back. All this talk about Lateef and what he's going to do. How about give the ball to 21 another 29 times and let that guy go to work?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, when we come back, let's delve into the offense here as we sit at the second bye week of 2025. We'll talk some offensive storylines and headlines here over the bye week. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. And we're back here on the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett. We're presented by Sartor Hamann. It's your go-to for fine jewelry, watches, master craftsmanship. Sartor Hamann has been serving Nebraska in the Midwest for 120 years. Check out the patented Heartland diamonds, custom cut and polished with extra facets to be the most beautiful diamond that you've ever seen, exclusive only at Sartor Hamann. All natural diamonds, not lab grown. Give her a diamond that you can see all the way across the room, guaranteed to wow her and her family. Paired with our spectacular gold and platinum jewelry mountings, and you have the legacy item that will last a lifetime and beyond. We also buy old gold and new jewelry items. Gold is at an all-time high, so bring in your old items for top dollar and more to trade in for new items. Sartor Hamann has been voted best year after year. Don't forget our custom Husker items and huge selection of fine watches. Visit SartorHamann.com now. Use the code HuskerOnline in the cart for an additional 10% off. Sartor Hamann, the outlet at 12th and O for 30 to 70% savings every day, and at South Point Pavilions in Grand Island and Lincoln. Sartor Hamann Jewelers, when only the best will do, a tradition as famous as the Huskers. SartorHamann.com. All right, guys, let's get into the offensive discussion because it was a big Emmett Johnson week. Robin was at the basketball game, and Emmett Johnson was sporting Heisman T-shirts. And did I get this right that he got up on the big screen and did a pose?
Yep, with a couple of his teammates and cheerleaders and everything, and they all did the Heisman pose together. It was quite the production, and Nebraska is going headfirst into this Emmett Johnson for Heisman campaign. And I guess, you know what, good on them, because if nothing else, at least they're putting his name out there to where, like, even if people don't regard him as a legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate, they know who he is. And they know that there's a running back at Nebraska that is putting up some pretty big numbers. So somebody has to start that discussion, and I guess, good on Nebraska for doing all it can to get that thing rolling as much as they can.
Good to see Malcolm Hartzog on. That's Malcolm Hartzog, right?
Malcolm
and
Hartzog.
Tyler Knack.
And there was some track and field guys. There was some others, like a bunch of athletes from other sports all sitting together.
The redhead kid in the student section, I feel like I've seen that kid in the student section for 10 years.
Die hard.
Like, he is every game, every time. I mean, you can't miss the guy. He's tall. He's got big red head hair.
Anyway. Now here's the deal.
Yeah, I got off the tracks there.
You're fine. Emmett Johnson, if it's not the Heisman, which he's a long shot, just stay. He'd be a long shot. Great chance to be an All-American though, and great
Big Ten back of the year.
Yeah, Big Ten back of the year, and you wonder about the Doak Walker. Yeah, I mean, I would think it's guys. It's either Jeremiah Love or Emmett, right? Am I missing something?
So those are the only two running backs, Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame and Emmett Johnson of Nebraska, that are finalists for the Maxwell.
Yeah.
Semifinals, not finalists.
Okay.
And the Maxwell is essentially another version of the Heisman. But there's only two running backs. So today, right now, if he just, I would say hold serve. And what's hold serve? I mean, I don't even know if he needs 100 yards per game against Iowa and Penn State, but if he got like 180, he's going to be in pretty good shape.
He's pretty good shape. So his numbers are extraordinary. He's the only back in the country with 1,300 rushing yards, or excuse me, what's he got?
He leads the country with yards from scrimmage right on the screen there, 1,431 yards. He also has
1,100 rushing. He's the only back in the country with 1,100 rushing yards and 300 passing yards, receiving yards. Yeah, he's the only one.
He leads the country for first downs converted by a running back. He's got 66 converted first downs.
Yeah, he's having a monster year, and we didn't see it coming.
I think the thing for him, though, is team success. A lot of times you can have guys that put up these big numbers, and if you're sitting there at 7-5 or whatever, like that, it's probably going to put you out of the conversation. But what if Nebraska wins these next two and he plays really well? Especially on a Black Friday game to end the season.
Oh, God.
Then it gets maybe a little
more real, yeah.
And it's weird for running back this year. I just feel like, you go back to last year, you had Genty at Boise and some other bigger name guys. This is one of those years that nobody has just kind of risen up that was supposed to rise up and have a big year, where it's allowed Emmett Johnson to kind of come from the back of the pack.
Yep.
And now get to where he's at.
So the front of the pack is Mendoza and Sayin. It's quarterbacks. That's what it usually is. That's what usually is.
Like, who's the SEC's best Heisman candidate?
Alabama kid.
Alabama
Ty
quarterback.
Simpson.
Yep.
Simpson.
Yeah, Ty Simpson would be. Oh, it's probably Mendoza 1, Julian Sayin 2. Simpson would be in that 3 or 4 range. That's what you're talking about. And you don't really see Love on many lists.
Well, he's not even at 1,000 yards yet.
Right. Right. So it's, again, there's been 2 running backs that have won it since 2009. Ingram won it in 2009 and Derrick Henry won it in 2015. So those are only 2 running backs in that time period.
I will say, if Justice Haynes from Michigan would not have gotten hurt, I think he would have had a pretty good chance possibly to win the Big Ten Back of the Year. I mean, he was ahead of Johnson in terms of his pace, and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
But that's part of the deal. You got to stay healthy, right?
Yeah. And that's a big – I say that Rule said Emmett Johnson's superpower is his elusiveness. Yeah, I think the other superpower is his staying power. He's getting better as the season goes. Seems like he gets almost better as games go. He shows no signs of slowing down, and that's saying a lot.
He's almost running harder in November than he was in September.
Says a lot about his strength. Says a lot about his physical strength and mental strength. He's a tough kid. That's what you want at running back.
Yeah, and
he doesn't fumble. I think the most impressive stat is 1 fumble and 203 carries.
Mm-hmm.
1 fumble and 203 carries is remarkable to me.
And when you let Dante Dowdell leave to go to Kentucky and didn't bring in somebody else, this is what had to happen. You said, okay, we're not going to have 2. We just got 1. And so he's playing as good as what 2 guys would have played for you.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. It kind of did have to happen. I mean, his number 2 guy is a converted receiver. The guy right behind him is Mosey. He wasn't going to be a running back, but he's pretty clear number 2 now. I mean, Mekhi Nelson, maybe you could say he's co-ish, but it seems like Mosey's been in the game before him.
He's usually the next back.
Yeah.
Now with the quarterback game, I'm really interested about TJ Lateef, just how we talked about this a little bit in the opening segment, but just how they manage him in his second start. What Dana will do, because I think everybody left Pasadena just wowed by the game plan and how easy he executed the game plan.
Yeah, I mean, it exceeded most people's expectations. Who expected him to go 13 of 15?
On me.
With 3 touchdown passes.
Right, and for it to look pretty easy for him. Now, again, it's just one game, one sample. Everything went right. Let's just see what game 2 looks like. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go too far down the road of looking in the future until we see a couple more games.
Mm-hmm. And the good thing, we talked about how Penn State and Iowa have all this chance to study. Well, guess what? TJ's got 2 full weeks to build off of that performance and make adjustments and, continue to develop with his receivers and the offensive line, all those things. So Penn State's going to have, plenty of time to figure out what to expect from TJ, but TJ's got plenty of time to improve and develop from that impressive first start. So it works both ways with this bye week.
The part I liked of TJ guys was the 4-minute offense. They got the ball with 4:36 remaining, and you're like, okay, they're just going to have to be predictable, hand it to Emmett, and hope they can get 10 yards. No, they didn't. I mean, they put the ball in TJ's hands, and he made a few big league throws where, it's not too often we've seen Nebraska in a conference game on the road with 4:36 on the clock go out there and execute a 4-minute offense.
Oh, you mean to close down the game?
To close the game down.
Right.
To make it where there was no, UCLA did not get another chance. And that's not easy to do.
He had to make 2 throws and he made them. Otherwise you have number 21. So when you have a running game, we've said that for years. When Nebraska's lacked a running game, it had trouble salting away games. One of the things that you always say about a running game is it helps you close down games. And that's what happened. But yeah, he completed 2 passes on that final drive. The big one was the one to Isaiah Hunter. It looked like he made it look easy is what I keep saying. And that's usually a good sign. Lateef made it look easy.
All right, when we come back, let's talk defense and what needs to be done here over this bye week. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. And we're back here on the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett as this segment of the show brought to you by Hollow Socks. Not familiar with Hollow Socks? Unbelievable product. These socks are warm. They're lightweight. They're made from alpaca. And it's a thin, breathable material. But it's high quality. It's warm. Got a few pairs warm this week. It was down to 18 degrees the other morning, and these socks felt like gloves. I mean, they were just perfect on your feet. If you've never tried Hollow Socks, we've got a deal right now. Go on their website, visit hollowsocks.com. You're going to get buy 3 socks, get 3 free sale. Again, that's hollowsocks.com. Check out the deal with buy 3, get 3 free on their sock sale. Perfect stocking stuffer. You're trying to get stuff ahead of time for Christmas. Who doesn't want new socks?
Put some socks in a stocking. It's sock season.
And you tell them on there you heard about Hollow Socks from Husker Online and the Husker Online Show. Thanks again to Hollow Socks for sponsoring us here on the Husker Online Show. All right, let's get into the defensive discussion. Because, again, the Achilles heel continues to be mobile quarterbacks. Well, Nebraska's, correct me if I'm wrong here, Sid, but Penn State's not going to run the quarterback like we've seen. Now, Iowa will.
They have Penn State has a freshman quarterback who he's not a runner. Iowa Gronowski, he does run. He's not like Nico though. I'm not doing the last name. Nico was good. I mean, Nico was really a problem. Yeah.
I am a Leviava.
Yeah.
Emiliava.
Oh
God.
We're
killing ourselves here.
Nico.
We are professionals.
Luckily, we'll never see
I had
him again.
it down last week, and then it just
Emiliava.
Yeah.
Nico. He was a bear, but he was a bear. But here's the thing about him: he never got a run over 21 yards. You know, I think he had 6 over 10, but it was always between 10 and 21. He never hit the home run. I thought in that sense they did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
He was just what I expected. He was just what Butler talked about going into the game, where I keep calling it his launch point. His launch point's tough to read. You never know when he's going to win and where he's going to take off from. He's some guys you can kind of tell. With him, it's different. And now then when he gets going, not only is he fast and big, he has moves. I mean, he can put moves on people. Dead leg, good cutting, good cuts, gets extra yards after that. So yeah, he's their team. Mm-hmm. He's their offense. That's what he is.
No question. The good news is that yes, Penn State has 0 QB run game. Ethan Grunkmeyer, since taking over, he's as the starter, he has 10 rushes with only 1 designed run for 25 yards, a touchdown, and 3 fumbles.
Yeah, we just jinxed it, by the way.
Yeah, now he's going to go for
I've done this
15 and 85 and 2 TDs.
Sean could run
Bryce Underwood, Malik Washington.
No, that's not what this guy is.
But
Sean could run him down.
I wouldn't even put this guy in that universe.
Drake Lindsay was the only non-mobile guy, but I mean, they didn't let that guy hold the ball longer than 2 seconds.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that.
No,
at least you shouldn't. But you do have to worry about maybe the best 1-2 backfield punch in the Big Ten, maybe in all of college football, with Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. Like, those 2 guys are elite. And Nebraska's got 1 good guy. Well, they got 2 of them.
Not good receivers, though. I mean, that's been kind of the problem with Penn State the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
They just have not had the receivers to match the quarterback play or the running backs.
No, they don't get the ball downfield very often or very easily.
So we'll see kind of where that goes with this defense. But you'd like to see this team get healthier. Desan McCullough coming back off injury. Maybe Vincent Shaver's hand heals. Rex Guthrie has a sore shoulder, left the game for a few plays, came back in. That's where this second bye week, I think, could be big before 2 very physical games against Penn State and Iowa.
When you put it that way, it makes sense. Now everybody's battling some injuries. Every team in the country,
every team's banged up.
Yeah, I mean, guy's got a shoulder injury, big deal. Who doesn't? I would. McCullough would be good to have back because of what you just said. Penn State, he's a pocket guy. I mean, that's what McCullough's all about, trying to get to a quarterback. So you watch that. Now, Dylan Rogers played how many snaps? 52?
Yeah.
Dylan Rogers, we haven't seen much of him at all. I think his highest snap total had been 7, and he played 52, and I would say held up well, right? Rule talked about, I'm talking about Dylan Rogers. Rule said it's just a matter of getting him to cut loose. And so sometimes it takes some guys longer than others just to say, hell with it, I'm going.
Clarify on those numbers. Dylan Rogers played 49 snaps
Close
against UCLA,
enough.
which were 42 more than any other game he has played in his career. Previous high was 7 against USC.
I said 7, so that was right. I just missed on 3 snaps.
But Jack, what we saw in LA or in Pasadena was completely unpredictable. To see Dylan Rogers play that much and even Maverick Noonan get on the field, to not see Desan McCullough, to not see McGahee, to not see Ochoa. And those were the guys. I mean, and give those kids credit. They particularly Rogers, he stepped up.
Rogers, for sure. So McGahee's redshirted. He's sort of out of the picture.
Yeah, I mean, and you can't really. It just doesn't make sense. Why he's redshirting?
The only thing that makes sense is it just wasn't working behind the scenes,
and he could be gone. And we won't know the portal isn't open until January 2nd.
Right. But you'd expect him to be in the portal, right? We can say that, right?
That's the feel you get. That it's headed that direction. A big telling point will be the bowl trip. Will he be on the bowl trip?
So they got the defense. In some ways, it's been kind of predictable when you hire a DB's coach. They're really good in the secondary. They don't stop the run very well. Now that's not all related to
a lot of it's just personnel.
It's personnel. I think it's mainly a personnel driven discussion. We figured that they'd be they're a little light up front, a little inexperienced in a lot of ways, and that's shown. They don't always get off the field. They don't hold up against the run all that well a lot of the time. But 7-3 is the bottom line, and that 400-yard stat is a bottom line stat.
The defense is playing more than well enough to keep them in every game.
It has
7-3 and pretty dang close to being 8-2, 9-1. I mean that's the scare. I mean. You could argue Michigan game. They were playing, and then obviously the loss against USC when they were, before Dylan went out with the injury. They were, and Minnesota hammered them. But this could easily be an 8 or 9 win team. And I think Husker fans that want to nitpick, that's probably the frustrating thing about 7-3 because you smell and you saw maybe 9-1.
We could make the same case that they should have lost a lot more.
Cincinnati.
I mean, there's several games that they pulled out.
Maryland.
And
that goes the other way.
And that's where, like, if you want to look at the context of what this season is, it's that for a program that has lost all those types of 50-50 down to the wire games for so long, they're winning more than they're losing. And so that, I think, gives you optimism that this team is finally learning how to win, and they're figuring it out when it matters the most. And, it hasn't always worked out, but more often than not, they're making the right plays when the stakes are at their highest.
I mean, think about Sorsby in the Cincinnati game. It was a 2017 game, and they were driving, and you're like, okay, at minimum, we're going to overtime.
Yeah, Hartsock gets the pass interference.
100%. 100%. And, now in hindsight, you hold Cincy to 17. That was great. That was great. It's not good. That's great.
Sorsby's going to win national awards. Like, he's a finalist for a whole bunch of quarterback all-American stuff. So he had his work cut out for him against
That's
Nebraska.
A great win.
And people were mad about that win, but for Nebraska at the time, they're like, I can't believe they only beat Cincinnati by 3 points. I'm like,
turns out they're pretty good.
Well, they didn't know. I mean, those people, you give them grace because they didn't know. You didn't know how good
the NFL scouts and Arrowhead knew that night, though. I can still never forget what those guys said. They're like, the scouts were there only to watch mainly Cincinnati's guys.
Yeah, they weren't there for Dylan and the Huskers. They were there for Sorsby and Dante Corleone.
All right. Well, when we come back, Abby Barmore will join us here. We'll take your questions in the mailbag. You're listening here to the Husker Online Show. Back here on the Husker Online Show, Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washut, Abby Barmore joining the show here before we get to the mailbag segment of the show brought to you by Harry's Razors. Not just razors, obviously. They've got great shaving cream products, face balms, all sorts of products. We've all been using Harry's all football season long here on the Husker Online Show. And I think what jumps out to me about Harry's is they've created a high quality premium product at a great price. Because You go down to the store and buy razors. I mean, you're going to spend a lot of money for a good quality 3-blade razor. Harry's has mastered their product, and it competes with any of them out there. So if you're looking to get a good razor at a high quality, at a great price, Harry's is your answer. And we've got a great deal with Harry's. Get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10. Just simply go to harrys.com/Husker. Again, that's harrys.com/Husker. You will get the trial set for $10. It comes with a travel size shaving cream and a shaving rod and razor, all for just $10. That will get you started, and you'll be hooked from there. Thanks again to Harry's for sponsoring us here on the Husker Online Show. But let's get into the mailbag, Abby. Where are we going to start out at?
Which Nebraska assistant coaches are most deserving of some praise this season?
EJ Barthel. I mean, I think that's where you start the conversation right now. Glenn Thomas.
Just say them all.
Go through the whole list. Sipple's like, well,
How about Dakeil Shorts?
I'm trying to think about this.
How
Yeah.
good has the perimeter blocking been compared to last year when it was an absolute disaster and they could not run the ball east-west? Now they're able to open up an entire new element of their run game. The receiver blocking, not just on the perimeter, but downfield, has been exceptional. And I credit that a lot to Dakeil Shorts instilling that mentality.
The DB coaches,
Addison.
Addison Williams. I mean, they're second in the country in pass defense.
Yeah.
Somebody deserves
Hard
some
to do
credit.
better than that.
Yeah, somebody deserves some credit there.
Mike
know what?
Eckler.
Oh, God. Yeah, we forgot Eckler.
Well, he's a coordinator, right?
Yeah, he's
They
coordinator.
count.
He's an assistant coach, though.
Okay.
I mean, coordinators are assistant coaches.
You know what?
Well, then maybe.
What the question points up? 'Cause
Just
they've
list
had-
everyone.
They've had a lot of guys do a good job this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not easy. It's not necessarily. I mean, Sean, I kind of disagree with you. Barthel's not head and shoulders above everybody.
Well, the Emmett Johnson
yeah.
could be the first All-American since 2011.
And you can
Right.
credit the development of Emmett Johnson, where you're
Right.
putting him as the poster boy of player development on this roster.
Right. Now, you could counter it by saying, but what about the
Who
backups?
else?
Yeah.
Who else?
So, no, I think there's a lot of guys. If I was picking an assistant of the year right now, it'd be Eckler.
Yeah.
For the way he whipped around the
No
special teams.
No
Yeah.
question.
All right, next question.
Okay, rules messaging about the need for more financial support from NIL and revenue sharing has changed since he first kind of called them out. What has caused that change?
Sean.
Yeah, nobody really has a good answer on this because early in the season, back in like summerish time, he had a similar message to what he had here during the bye week, that they
Okay.
were set up to have major success here and they were aligned and they had all the things they needed. And then kind of when the Penn State job opened and kind of negotiations are going on for his new deal, he kind of said it'd be nice to be able to afford a $30 and $40 million roster and that they didn't have the money to get a running back. But now all of a sudden they do, but nobody really knows what he meant by that. And it's probably our fault that we didn't follow up because the rev shares are the rev share. They have full rev share, just like everybody else in the country can have access to. It's the additional NIL marketing agreements. And I don't know how you can know like what businesses are going to give to your program, how that all works.
So people wondering what he said, one of the things he said was, we don't have as much money as some teams, but we have enough. So that kind of answers what Sean referred to. Nebraska's not a $40 million operation, football operation, roster operation like Oregon. Probably not like Ohio State. Probably not like Texas. Probably not like Texas Tech. Those are the schools you think of right off the bat. They're spending a ton of money. I don't think Nebraska's that. I don't think they're going to be that. But he said, we have enough. He said, we have enough to go get anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough. Okay, so what he did, and I was going to write this for Sunday, for the Sunday column. He did a good thing. He put pressure on himself. I guarantee you Matt Rule invites that pressure. But in effect, when he said that, he said, we have everything we need. I didn't have to go to Troy Dannon. I'm not going to Troy Dannon this year with a list of things we need because we have everything we need. And oh, by the way, we can go get any player we want. So what clicks in your brain? No excuses anymore.
Yeah.
But I want to emphasize, I bet he invites that. Like, yeah, I want pressure. You think Ryan Day wakes up every day and says, God, I wish I was at a place where there wasn't so much pressure. No, those guys they operate at that level. They function well at that level.
Pressure is a privilege.
100.
That's what it comes down to.
Good
And
job, Rob.
Matt Rule said he has everything. I think that statement was obviously about NIL rev share, but I think it also, they have their brand new football facility with their brand new practice fields and their brand new dining hall, with the where the players can eat, with the top of the line nutrition. They have everything they possibly need to maximize player recovery, development, quality of life. So like, there's the buying players standpoint of it, where he feels that they're competitive enough, but then they have everything else from a resource standpoint. God. So that's what I think when he talks, like, I don't have a list of, Troy, we need this, this, and this to keep up with the Joneses, because they have it all now.
What don't they have, Sean? Weather. Can't buy that.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Big winning.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's where it comes back now. You get the table set, make the food.
Yeah.
All right, Abby, what do you got?
Do you think Nebraska has a real shot at finishing in the top 5 for the 2027 recruiting class? They're at number 4 right now.
It's hard to say because of the number of spots and the amount of money they want to spend on high school players with portal guys, but they're off to a great start. I would say they're safely going to be a top 15 class, which that hasn't happened in a long time. But you just don't really know because of the unknowns with revenue share and how teams are going to use their money on high school versus the portal.
Yeah, when you talk about Trey Taylor and Pittman and the big Erickson, they have critical pieces. You have the quarterback, you have I don't know. Sean, is Erickson projected left tackle, right tackle? Could be your left tackle very easily, right?
I don't look at him as a true left.
Oh, you don't?
No, I think he's probably more of a right.
Okay.
I just don't. I mean, you're talking left tackle in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
It's a big time position.
We'll see on that. That'll be interesting. His dad was incredibly athletic, Mike Erickson, for a big man. You remember that guy?
Oh, yeah.
Big man, one of the most, you know what? He was one of the most athletic big men at Nebraska I've ever seen. His dad he wasn't an all-conference player or anything like that, but it wasn't because of lack of athleticism.
Saying something.
Yeah.
You've seen some doozies.
Oh, yeah. He was athletic.
All right, final question.
Okay, what is your favorite backup quarterback performance?
Well, there's a lot, guys, you can go with, but I'll go to 1981. Nebraska was trailing Auburn 3-0, and they had struggled out of the gates. And Tom Osborne was under some heat at that point in his coaching tenure, and he made the decision at halftime to put in a young quarterback by the name of Turner Gill. And at that point, everything changed. Osborne won the Big 8 multiple years in a row. He beat Oklahoma and Barry Switzer multiple years in a row, and things were off. I mean, I think there's 2 defined eras of the Osborne time at Nebraska. The early 80s with Turner Gill, Rozier, Fryer, and obviously the 90s. And in that decision in 81 to insert Turner Gill in a game at halftime or Memorial Stadium, I believe they booed the team or they were upset. And then they came out and put up 17 points and won that game in the second half.
You whippersnappers. Now, I don't listen. I've had a rough show. I'm gonna be very honest about that. I have. I botched just some numbers on Emmett and blah blah blah. But I think that's when Osborne went to more of a running quarterback. That was the big change then.
That wasn't the norm in college football.
It was the norm at Oklahoma, and Oklahoma kept beating Nebraska. And it was Osborne basically going to option. I mean, to an option attack.
But Turner could throw.
Oh, pretty good throw. I mean, he was a 51% career. If you look it up, I bet you'd see 51.3%. And if that's right, then all of my sins are absolved.
A lot of deep shots. Hey, a lot of deep shots. Though,
look it up, Abby.
Because of the play action.
Yeah.
I mean
yes, 100%. So when you had guys running open all the time. Like Banderas.
So when you have deep shots because of the play action, you're going to have a lower completion percentage because you're throwing the ball like 40 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Mine goes back to October 1st, 1994, when star quarterback Tommy Frazier was sidelined with blood clots, and Nebraska turned to a quarterback by the name of Brooke Behringer to make his first career start against the Wyoming Cowboys, and it didn't go well to start. They were down 21-7 late in the first half, and things were getting a little dicey. Well, Behringer turns it on, organizes 4 straight scoring drives to orchestrate a 42-32 come from behind victory. And oh, by the way, did so with a partially collapsed lung that he just played through. One of the toughest, grittiest performances you're ever going to see. And it also, cherry on top, that was one of my first games ever at Memorial Stadium. So that will
Wow.
forever be etched.
The
in my
legendary
mind.
guy that was in the cowboy hat,
Yeah,
smoking
we sat in the Wyoming section. There were two literal Wyoming cowboys in trench coats and cowboy hats, ripping cigars. And they got like some security guy told them to come over and like, hey, can you guys put that out? And they're like, nope. And the guys, okay.
Can you make us?
And then they finished their cigars, and that was it.
Sip. What do
Okay,
you got?
So
Turner
as long-
Bill.
Yeah, as long as we bring up Behringer. Behringer was still nursing a collapsed lung that season, and they went to Kansas State and won with Matt Turman. Matt Turman, it's almost like you almost say now it's like a cliche. You got Turman, your third string or second string quarterback won the game. Yeah, it was an amazing day. I was not covering the team at that point. It was the year before I started covering, but it was a cold gray day in Kansas State. And what they did was they fed Lawrence Phillips 31 times.
Nice fallback option.
Yeah, they had
With multiple All-Americans on the O-line.
right. And now what I remember, now again, rough show, facts, problems, all that, but I think Phillips had a thumb injury too, so he wasn't in great shape. They just gutted out a win against Kansas
Well, and
State.
Chad May and
Yeah, it was Chad May. They got after Chad May,
Terry Keneally grabbing Chad May below the belt,
so to speak.
so to speak.
This was 1994, mid-October, and Nebraska won 17-6. 17-6. The Terminator, Matt Turman, is etched himself into Nebraska lore that day.
That
Okay,
was
just to set the record straight, Turner Gill's career completion percentage 54.
Oh, did he have a
Close.
Low ball.
you came out pretty confident on that.
wow,
You like had it down to the decimal.
did he have a year where he was
51.3?
51.3?
Well, let me look. Continue your
All right, no, we're done.
conversation.
We got to go to break.
54%.
I want Sipple to end wrong. When we come back, we're going to
Not
talk.
that wrong, though.
We're going to take Big Ten. Well, we're
That
going
was
to talk
close.
Big Ten football games. You're listening to the Husker Online Show. Final segment here at the Husker Online Show. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, Robin Washett. This segment, Steve, is brought to you by who?
Larson Motors. I'm going to take a swig of cranium, and then we're going to sell some cars.
What the hell? You have had a rough show, but get back to Larson.
Come on, Larson.
Come on now. Larson Motors in Nebraska City. If you're looking for a new vehicle, how about a new experience at Larson Motors in Nebraska City? It's one of the Midwest's only dealerships with all of the major brands in one location. So finding your new Chevrolet, GMC, Hummer, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram never has been easier. So start your new experience today at LarsonMotorGroup.com or at Larson Motors in Nebraska City. All right, guys. Larson Motors, real people,
Real
deal.
deals. All right, let's go through week 11, Big Ten games. Maybe one of the games of the year thus far in the conference. Indiana gets a closing seconds win at Penn State.
Wow.
But catch of the year in college football. They win 27-24 in Happy Valley. They're 10-0. It looks like we could get a possible 12-0 Big Ten title game now.
Would that be epic, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a Big Ten title game, Indiana versus Ohio State.
Yeah,
it would
those
be
two
epic.
teams right
For the
there,
one
two of
seed.
two of the best teams, if not the best teams in college football, right?
Epic. It would be an epic night in Indianapolis.
You'd hope it'd be packed.
By the way, that game, Sean, throw of the year, catch of the year, game of the year. That's what that was.
And surprisingly, on the TV ratings, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, that game drew 6 million.
Okay.
Alabama LSU drew 7.5.
I can't. What's the deal there?
Indiana's not a big football draw. That
Just means more. Is that what we're talking about?
I mean, it's just kind of like
I mean, just
you don't
compare the
wanna-
brands.
Yeah.
Like you got a down Penn State and Indiana. People outside of the Big Ten don't want to give Indiana their props yet. They still got to go earn it.
that's wrong, by the way.
I agree.
If that's the way to look, how do you not give Indiana their props?
And
at
there's
this point?
a certain network that generates quite a bit of viewership that probably doesn't pump the Big Ten very much. So that's part of it.
Oregon Iowa was the third most viewed game, 5.4, and then that was better than A&M Missouri, which was 4.9. BYU Texas Tech, the game of the year for the Big 12, only drew 4 million. So that kind of puts it in perspective. Nebraska UCLA drew 2.2
Pretty good number.
for a meaningless 8:00 Friday night game in a lot of respects. But Ohio State handled Purdue 34-10, but again, Purdue kept it respectable. Rutgers gets win number 5 over Maryland, 35-20. Oregon beats Iowa, and really a special teams blunder, a safety was kind of one of the difference-making plays early that helped Oregon jump up. Then Iowa retook the lead late, and then Oregon kicked the field goal to win. How about Wisconsin? They get a win, 13-10. They storm the field in Madison.
Remarkable win. It's remarkable that Washington could only muster 10 points.
I know.
Washington's not good on the road.
Yeah, and those West Coast teams having to go play those games out this way
In November.
It's rough. Yeah, it's rough for those teams, it seems like.
USC 38-17, Friday night winner against Northwestern. But anything jump out about that Iowa, Oregon, or any of the other games from last week?
Yeah, I always remember where we were when we watched we were watching that Indiana Penn State game at a pastrami shop in Pasadena. And I always remember that. Sean has his phone out. And we saw the final bit of it, and I'll never forget it. It was one of the best games I've ever seen.
This blue collar guy in a sweatshirt came over and kind of watched it with us too.
Yeah, and Omar Cooper's name now lives in. He's famous. I mean, they will never forget Omar Cooper in Indiana.
I was busy watching Rick Mass drop the third triple-double in Nebraska basketball history.
Wasn't the basketball game?
Yeah, it was over by that point.
I was still writing.
We were
That's
watching
true.
Rink Mass
That's
in the
true.
taxi cab going to Dodger Stadium. The Uber, not taxi
Robin
cab.
was working.
Mm-hmm.
We were out gallivanting around
Dodger
LA.
Stadium.
Just having a fun outing.
Yeah, just gallivanting, going to Dodger Stadium, fun. Going to that pastrami shop, fun. That pastrami was remarkable.
75-year-old place called The Hat.
Yeah, it was fun.
They had other stuff too, but that was their specialty.
God, pastrami was good.
And this place was packed.
It was lined the whole time, except we got there at a perfect time. And it seems like when we got our food, the line started forming.
And believe it or not, there were Husker fans there too.
There we were.
Like lots of them.
Oregon, Iowa was an incredibly good game. I mean, intriguing game. It was played in the middle of the day, but it looked like night.
Mm-hmm.
So it was odd that way. I give Oregon a lot of credit because they come in and handle that situation very well. Lanning doesn't even wear rain gear because he says he wants to be like he wants to be in there with his guys, Yeah. They handled it very well.
For teams that have made transitions to like another power league, like Oregon might be the best.
Yeah,
That's done this.
By the way, I think they're without their top three receivers, top
Mhm.
two.
Definitely their best.
Yeah,
Who was a late scratch right before kickoff.
right.
All right, 8 games this weekend though in the Big Ten, so a full slate really of 16 teams playing. Minnesota at Oregon on a Friday night. You would like to think Oregon at home takes care of business. PJ Fleck's team has not been a great road team this year in games like this. Michigan at Northwestern in Wrigley Field. That's an 11 a.m. game on Fox. A big noon kickoff once the backdrop of Wrigley.
It's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I wish Nebraska could get that
I know.
game.
That'd be sweet.
But the time we go out there again, the stadium will be done. Wisconsin at Indiana. Can the Badgers play good 2 weeks in a row? We'll see. Number 2 Hoosiers are 29.5-point favorites.
Hoosiers down some linemen. They've had a couple guys go down. That's something to watch.
I think they'll be okay.
Game of the week, though, guys, is Iowa at USC on the BTN. And the reason it's on the BTN is USC has to play a game on the BTN. Like that's the rule of the conference. You have to play one conference game. Best game of the week is on freaking BTN.
Now, Iowa took a donkey kick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
they lost by 2.
Well, their playoff
I know,
hopes essentially ended.
but it was
They were a fringe playoff team.
Sean. How many times has Nebraska taken a donkey kick and you could say, well, they only lost by 2?
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a donkey kick.
Donkey kicks coming all forms.
Right.
And then they play Michigan. So Iowa has Michigan State before Nebraska. But this is a tough road trip for them out at USC.
Oh, God. Following that loss to Oregon, if they hadn't lost that way,
Indiana.
I'd like I'm sorry.
Talking about Penn State, right?
Oh,
No, we're talking about Iowa, Oregon.
yeah, we're talking about Iowa, Oregon.
Iowa, Oregon.
Yeah, had Iowa not lost that way, I'd love them against USC, but they lost that way. I just can't. I just don't know if I don't know if they can rally that fast.
Maryland, Illinois play, and the only reason there's some implication there is maybe for Illinois in the bowl game, in terms of competing for Nebraska with
100.
bowl order. Penn State's at Michigan State. That's the CBS game. 2, 3, and 6 teams. Yuck.
Think about it, that's Danielson. He's got to deal with that.
Yeah, how? I mean, it's just crazy that Iowa USC is not on CBS.
So is it Brando?
No, that's CBS.
Who does it? No, I know who does the game. Who's
Gary
doing
Danielson and Brad Nessler.
Nessler.
If not Brando.
No, if you're Petiti, I almost call those guys and say, I'm sorry that we got to do this. Just try to give it hell. I mean, really, because that game is horrible
Michigan
for that
State's
slot.
kind of a mess right now.
Yeah, that game's horrible for that slot, right? Deserves a much better game than that.
And then you've got Purdue at Washington, and then Ohio State hosts UCLA on the NBC game.
Look at that spread.
32.5. So, yeah, it's a weird. I'll tell you what, the networks have had a hard time picking games this year because the teams that are supposed to be good haven't been good. And teams like Indiana don't draw numbers.
Right.
And then they blow everybody out on top of that. So it's hurt the TV ratings this year for the conference.
The Big Ten's TV ratings trail the SEC's by a mile.
Yeah, a lot.
Well,
They're still number 2, but yeah, the SEC's got a way better number, but should be a big weekend of games. Again, Robin will be in Sioux Falls for basketball.
Oklahoma.
Sip will be raking leaves.
Yeah, I won't be raking leaves. I'll be watching that doublehead. I call it doublehead. I'm gonna watch USC Iowa and then watch Nebraska basketball. I'm duty bound. I gotta watch. I haven't watched a lot of it because they play all these crap teams. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, Rob. They play these bad teams. It's not worth my time. But now they're playing Oklahoma, and I want to see what that looks like against a real opponent.
Yep.
All right. Well, should be a great weekend. And Abby obviously will have full volleyball coverage. The Huskers are in Los Angeles for UCLA and USC.